UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier for the UFC middleweight championship of the world. We also got the trilogy. Alexander Volkanovski looking to defend his belt against Max Holloway for the second time. What's up, Chronic Combat? I'm sure that's you, Guru. Yeah, looking to go 3-0 against Max. That's a great fucking fight, and this whole card is loaded top to bottom, man. I love it. Cannot wait to get into it. I think it's awesome from a betting perspective. This is going to be the most units I've had risk in a long time, and I'm sure y'all just hear my dog, so I got to warn y'all. I'm here home alone with the dogs today, which means they are my responsibility. I got a 1-year-old husky lab. So we're gonna pray that there's not a whole lot of nonsense going on here, but we're gonna get into this, man. So I got 4 bets right now. I'm looking at a 5th. There's some spots I'm really solid on this card, and then there's some fights I just have no freaking idea. I'm always real with you guys. If I feel like my lean isn't strong in a fight, I'm gonna let you guys know. I have no idea on this fight. Go watch another predictor. Maybe somebody else has a lean on that fight, and spoiler alert, the fight I'm talking about is Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira, but we'll get there. So I guess I'm going to start from the bottom for this card, man. And I do have a bet in the first fight. And, man, I put a lot of work on this card, guys. Watched a lot of tape. Super excited. Yeah, after taking an L last week, I felt twice as motivated to put the work in and bounce back with the W here. I believe the Sarukian decision should have gone my way, but I bet a close fight at minus 250, so I deserve to lose, and it is what it is. But we bounce back here, man, and we start with the first fight of the night. Now, this one's a one of my sketchier, in my opinion, this is a sketchy bet, but value is value. If you see value, you got to take advantage. Here we go. Jessica Rose Clark, taking on Julia Stoliarenko. Rose Clark minus 150, Stoliarenko plus 125. Let me get the odds pulled up real quick. That might not even be what it is anymore. So yeah, it's around there. It started off at like Jess minus 120, then it got steamed up to minus 180, and now some action's coming back in on Stoliarenko. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. By the way, I'm starting a little early because I know y'all are trying to watch those stare downs at 5 p.m. So, yeah, let's get through this, man. Jessica Rose Clark. Okay, so here's the thing with me in this fight and why I have a bet on it. Stoliarenko, she's 0-4 in the UFC. Lost that first fight to Leah Letson long ago. Got cut, got brought back, lost 3 straight. Here we are. If she loses this one, she's 0-5 in the UFC. Big thing with Stoliarenko. There's not a whole lot to her game, man. She's low level. Let's be real. Very low level. All her game consists of brawling, pulling guard, and going for that armbar, man. And she's such an armbar specialist, yet do any of y'all want to tell me when she's hit one of these armbars? Because it sure as hell did not happen in the UFC. I don't even think it happened in Invicta. I could be wrong on that. I know her last Invicta fight, it actually went 25 minutes against Lisa Verzosa. And if y'all have ever seen that fight, I think it was a complete and utter robbery. I thought Verzosa, she boxed her up, man. Yeah, she only had one Invicta fight, and she won it in that robbery decision, in my opinion. But, like, look at these girls she's getting these arm bars on. 2-4, 0-0, 4-1, 0-0. It's like, yeah, she's probably better than the average chick at an arm bar, but, like, it ain't going to work at a certain level. And I'll tell you why the line is so close. It's because Jessie just got armbarred in her last fight, and she's going up against an armbar specialist here. It's not that simple, though. You got to have more context into it. So the thing with that, personally, I rate Stephanie Egger much higher than I rate Julia Stoliarenko. Stephanie Egger actually wins fights, whereas Stoliarenko is probably about to go 0-5 and never seen from again. Egger, she's just got a better overall game. She's a better athlete. I'm just comparing opponents here because really my point is it's not as simple as, she got armbarred in her last fight and she's going up against an armbar specialist. Stoliarenko usually can't get it to where she wants it unless these chicks openly wrestle. And even when they do openly wrestle, I mean, at the UFC level, they know how to defend these shitty arm bars. Like, yeah, the Alexis Davis fight was a little sketchier for my liking, but like Alexis Davis is what, 40 years old? At least Jessie Jess is more in her prime. She's like, what, 33, 34 years old. Not only that, Jessie Jess is going to have a clear striking advantage here. I mean, she could just she could wrestle here and keep it safe on top. A little risky, but she could easily keep this standing and outbox Stoliarenko. Like, there's no technique behind Stoliarenko's boxing. It's just brawl, pull guard, hope for the armbar, and yeah, that's about it. So give me the more well-rounded, I mean, just better fighter who actually wins UFC fights. I don't know what my dog's doing, but we're gonna power through it. So yeah, official prediction. I mean, Stoliarenko is a tough chick. I'd be surprised if she got finished. So I'll go with Jessica Rose Clark, clean 30-27s across the board. And I got 4.2 units at minus 140 to win 3 units. Yeah, I'm just very sold on the Stoliarenko fade train. Have been for a long time. It's worked thus far. Let's keep it going. Next one, we got Macy Barber taking on Jessica Eye. This is one that is very juiced. I mean, this is another one where, like, so it's funny how Jessica Eye's career has gone. Like, she used to be very high up my fade list back in the day when she was at bantamweight and she was losing all these decisions in a row. Like, Jessica, like, you can always count on Jessica Eye to lose a fight. Like, she was kind of like a laughing stock, and then she improved a lot, made waves at flyweight, got to a title fight, beat some big names. I mean, but now I kind of feel like she's back on the downslide. I feel like she's kind of on the way out, whereas Macy Barber's a really good athlete on her way up. This minus 300 line is rightful. I mean, Jessica Eye might be a little bit more of a technical boxer, but Barber's got that power, bro. And she's just the better athlete. Yeah, I mean, even if we don't see improvements from Macy Barber, I kind of feel like the previous version we've seen of her can come in here and beat Eye, and Eye's declining to me. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not dying to lay minus 300 on Macy Barber, but at the same time, I understand it. So I'm going to pick her to win a, man, I kind of feel like she can TKO Jessica Eye late here, but not many people finish Jessica Eye. You got to put her out cold like Valentina did. So I'll go with Macy Barber by a 30-27 decision. Moving on to the next one, we got Andre Muniz, minus 340. He's taking on Uriah Hall, plus 260. A lot of money coming in on Muniz, man. And here's the thing. I feel like this is a dogger pass situation, man. Like, if you know Uriah Hall, excuse me, how many times does Uriah Hall come through as the underdog? Like, if I were to sit here and look through his entire UFC career, that would actually take a while. He was probably the favorite against Weidman. He was probably the favorite against Anderson Silva. He was definitely the dog against Antonio Carlos Jr. I believe he was a slight dog against Bavon Lewis. I don't know what he was against Jotko. He was definitely a big underdog against Gegard Mousasi. He was, oh yeah, okay, I can see the odds right here. He was the underdog against... And of course they stopped. Point is, he's come through as the underdog many, many times. And the reason that is because the dude is one of the most dangerous fighters we've ever seen. So, I mean, the story with Uriah Hall is, as a minute-to-minute fighter, he's not very good. The output's not there. He's just more of a... I mean, he fights to his strengths, man. He knows his strengths. He knows that his best path to victory against most guys is going to be a knockout. And I kind of feel that way. Another reason he kind of fights this way is because he's low volume because he puts a lot into everything. And if he throws a lot, that's a good way to gas yourself out. So, I mean, to an extent, I understand the way he fights, but, I mean, it's not even just the way he fights. He kind of has a hole in the grappling department, and that's Muniz's bread and butter. So I get why Muniz is the favorite for sure. I mean, super impressive. Very good wrestling, very good jiu-jitsu, submitted Jacare, submitted Eric Anders. I mean, the guy's out here passing these tests with flying colors. So I get why he's a big favorite. But this is, at the same time, it's a big step up for him. I mean, Uriah Hall's He's a serious dude, man. He's a serious dude, man. Very, very powerful, dynamic, diverse with his strikes. I mean, if Muniz if Muniz gets a couple takedowns stuffed and he starts slowing down, like, do not be surprised if Uriah Hall lands something big and it's just one of those nights where he comes through as the dog, even though he was losing the whole fight up until that point. So I don't know, man. Just a messy fight for me. One I want to stay away from. I would not recommend playing Muniz at minus 335. I think it's a dog or pass situation. If you want to look at Muniz, if you want to get a little fancy, what is he by sub? Muniz by sub. Man, I'm not going to lie. Here we go. So, yeah, okay, like I was just about to say, I'm not a big fan of fightodds.io compared to best fight odds. But here we go. We got Muniz by submission, minus 125. Yeah, I mean, that's not even worth it. You're paying chalk on a prop. So, yeah, this is just a fight to stay away from altogether. So next one, I got a bet here. This is one where I got a prop, and it's not chalk. It's a pretty nicely lined prop. So we got Dricus du Plessis. He's minus 159. He's taking on Brad Tavares, plus 127. I mean, it's a competitive fight. I mean, it's just a matter of what you favor, man. Do you favor the more technical boxing, all the UFC experience of Brad Tavares, or do you favor the youth, the extremely scary power, the countering ability, the ceiling of possible improvements? Like, well, of course, we're going to be surprised if we see improvements from Brad Tavares. I mean, the dude's a finished product. He's been in the UFC for 12 years now, whereas Dricus du Plessis, I think we're going to see improvements every time. I understand why money is coming out on him. So I got a little fancy. I took the prop. I put 2 units on Dricus du Plessis inside the distance at plus 175. I have no problem doing this. I saved a lot of money on the money line. He's got 100% finishing rate, which means every single one of his wins came by finish. So, I mean, minus 159 versus plus 175. He's just got to finish. I mean, that's his path, man. I mean, it's not like he's going up against a real durable guy here in Brad Tavares. We've seen Brad Tavares cracked many of times. So, I mean, if Dricus has enough success in this fight to win it, that means he's landing those big, powerful counter shots, and I'm just not convinced Brad Tavares can eat them. But on the flip side, I can't say I'd be surprised if Brad puts on the vet lesson here and just avoids the big power and puts on a boxing clinic. It won't shock me. I just like Dricus's win condition at the line, plus 175. So, yeah, put 2 units on that to win 3.5. Competitive fight, though, but the pick is Dricus du Plessis, plus 175 to win inside the distance. I'll say he knocks out Brad in the, I'll say the second round. Moving on to the next one, we got Ian Gary. He's minus 179, taking on Gabriel Green, plus 146. Man, I feel like the UFC picked a really good matchup for Ian Gary here. Like, I'm actually not that high on Ian Gary, at least right now. Like, I feel like he's still green for sure. Like, he's going to take a UFC L probably soon for sure. I just don't think it's going to be this spot. Like, his Gabriel Green's weakness plays right into Ian Gary's strength. Ian Gary's a very good offensive striker, man. The dude can crack. He's big. He's long. He's diverse. And Gabriel Green eats a fuck ton of shots, man. So, like, you got this dude that's super hittable versus a guy that's a very, very good offensive striker. It's funny. There's a matchup that's a lot like that in the main card. And I feel like they matched up the very exciting offensive striker prospects in a very good way. Fight I'm talking about is Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munhoz, spoiler alert. But anyway, yeah, I mean, can Gabriel Green make this fight dirty, put some power on Ian Gary? Maybe he can wrestle. I mean, Gabriel Green has a chance here. I mean, there's a reason it's not minus 250 or minus 300. There's a reason it's close. But I think it's about accurate. I think Ian Gary deserves this minus 180-ish line here. He should probably piece up this punching bag. If anything, I think you could land it like minus 200, minus 230. So, yeah, give me Ian Gary. Will he get Gabriel Green out of there? I don't know. I mean, he does have a lot of knockouts. I mean, this dude's he's a fisher. I'll go with Ian Gary by finish, man. I'll say he gets it done in the second round. Moving on to the next one. Speaking of finishers, we got Jim Miller. He's minus 185. He's taking on Donald Cowboy Cerrone plus 157. So here we go. This is obviously it's a rematch from, I think it was 2014. So here's the thing. In their primes, I think Donald Cerrone is a better fighter. I got prime Cerrone over Jim Miller. The problem for me is that right now, I feel like Jim Miller has a lot more left in the tank. Like Jim Miller's out here still starching these prospects, these young guys like Nicholas Moda. I have a lot of respect for Nicholas Moda, and Jim Miller, he smoked him. Very, very impressive performance. He just looks very motivated these days. Like, I think that shit he went through for a couple years there where he had, what did he have? I think he had Lyme disease, and like it really took a lot out of him, and he was having some bad performances. He was a little inactive at the time, and then he got better from that shit, and I feel like in the last few years, he's really been on his game. He's only losing to great fighters. Whereas Donald Cerrone, he's been taking a lot of damage. They're never really, I mean, he's a little inactive these days, but in his prime, there was never really a break. Like, y'all remember this dude was fighting like 4 fucking times a year in his prime. And just based on the performances, like out here getting fucking smoked by Alex Morono and guys he has no business losing to, like, I don't know, man. It seems like Donald Cerrone is pretty much done, and we all know he's a slow starter. He's susceptible to getting smoked early, and that's what I thought Joe Lozon was going to do. I bet Joe Lozon is a dog. That fight didn't happen. Now you got Jim Miller. He's the favorite, and I understand why. I think Jim Miller's a tougher fight than Joe Lozon at this stage. However, this is there goes the dogs. One sec. All right. So here we go. So with the Jim Miller here, like Jim Miller's a really strong starter too. Like most of his wins are first round finishes. Most of Donald's losses are first round finishes. Just the reverse way. So I kind of feel like the dynamic just plays into Jim Miller. But there's also the same dynamic as the Joe Lozon fight in the sense that if this fight gets extended, that's where Cerrone shines. Jim Miller tends to slow down. So yeah, I mean, if the fight goes to round 2, have your eye open for a Donald Cerrone live bet, but I personally don't think it gets there. Sadly to say, I think Jim Miller comes out here and puts them away in round 1. Just how I see it going is what it is. I know Cowboy's a very beloved fighter. I know a lot of people are rooting for him, but non-biased opinion, I think Jim Miller gets the job done, and his win condition is round 1 finish. So that's just how it's going to play out to me. So, yeah, moving on to the next one. We got a bet. We got Jalen Turner. He's minus 145. He's taking on Brad Riddell plus 115. Real quick, I think I got Jalen Turner minus 120. Jalen Turner minus 120. I played at 3.6 units to win 3 units. So, yeah, beat the line a little bit there. This is a good fight, man. I'm a little worried. Like, I'll start with my worries here. We've seen Jalen taken down a lot in the past. However, I mean, it seems like he's improved. The dude's big as fuck. So I don't know. But Brad Riddell, he has shown to get a lot of takedowns in the UFC, despite being known as a striker. Dude has a lot of takedowns. He can get them. I mean, he's one of the shorter guys in the division, so he has that wrestler build. So it makes sense that he wrestles. And going against a 6'3" guy here, I mean, even though he's a striker, man, he's just not going to want to stand a range with Jalen Turner. Like, yeah, Brad Riddell might be a little bit more technical, but god damn, that power from Jalen Turner's unreal. Like, I don't know how this guy makes 155 personally. Like, it's almost unfair in there. It looks like you got a welterweight fighting lightweights, but hey, he makes it. He's a professional, and he's been coming in and making statements. Now, Brad Riddell is a step up from the guys he has been beating, but Brad Riddell has been taking a lot of damage, and I just kind of feel like the power that Jalen Turner is going to put on him, if it doesn't finish him, it's going to at least hurt him to the point where it's not going to look good to the judges, and Jalen Turner can take a decision here. So, yeah, man, I'm really liking Jalen Turner. It's just don't get wrestled for 2 out of the 3 rounds. Don't get your legs kicked off. But here's the thing. Like, I feel like he's maturing a lot, and I feel like he's going to be on point defensively, and I feel like this is going to be a big breakout performance. Don't think he's in the top 15 already, but I would imagine this would be the one that puts him in there if he gets the job done. Man, I'm rolling with the hot fighter against the guy that's been taking a lot of damage. I know Brad's been fighting these beasts like Rafael Fiziev, but it's been taking a toll on him, man. Like, power is not his friend, and Jalen Turner is going to put some power on him. Tarantula will come through. I agree, Roger. Appreciate you watching. So yeah, that's going to conclude the prelims. So 3.6 units on Jalen Turner minus 120. I'm going to say he gets a knockout here in the second round. So we got the main card. We got Sean O'Malley. He's minus 300 taking on Pedro Munhoz plus 240. I kind of compared this fight to the Ian Gabriel Green fight, where they're matching up the very talented offensive striker prospect against a guy who's very hittable, a punching bag with not a whole lot of footwork, who loves to eat one to give one. And here's the thing, like, Pedro Munhoz has a very, very good chin, but if there was ever a time for someone to finally be the guy to just absolutely starch him, I think it's going to be O'Malley here, man. I kind of like O'Malley a lot, like more and more as the week has gone on. So if you got in on O'Malley at minus 250, like I know my boy Dan from Best Fight Picks, I know he got minus 250. Great line. Minus 300. I mean, shit, if you want to throw O'Malley in a parlay at minus 300, I don't mind it. And I know a lot of you guys are probably surprised and were expecting me to at least say Pedro Munhoz is live here and that it's a dog or pass situation. I kind of don't feel that way, to be completely honest with you. Like, yeah, I know there's leg durability issues with Sean O'Malley. I know he's going to be at a grappling disadvantage here, but I don't know if it's going to be a massive grappling disadvantage. I don't even think it's going to really even get there. Like, Pedro Munhoz, like, somebody's going to have to get dropped, followed to the ground or some shit like that. I see this as a standing match, and Pedro, he's just short. He's hittable. O'Malley's going to light this guy up. It's not going to be good. Do y'all think Pedro's still in his prime? I kind of don't. Like, I don't think he's done or anything. I don't think he's shot, but he's on the wrong side of his career, in my opinion. That's not to disrespect him. I mean, I'm not sitting here like I don't have any money on O'Malley. This isn't me just disrespecting the side I'm betting against. This is just how I honestly feel. So yeah, and I know you're probably asking, well, why don't you have a bet on O'Malley? I don't know, man. I don't feel like there's so many good opportunities on this card that I don't feel the need to parlay minus 300s, but it should probably come through. And I mean, a good way to play, I guess, will be I'm about to go make my DraftKings lineups after this. So I think a good way to play it for me is going to be to not have a lot of Pedro Munhoz, like maybe only like 2 or 3 Pedro Munhoz lineups, and then just go all fucking in on Sean O'Malley, because I think he's going to – I mean, we'll see how high owned he is. He's really expensive on a fight card where – I mean – so the big favorites on this fight card, like I'm not trying to play Israel Adesanya at 9,400. I kind of feel like it might be a slow-paced chess match for 25 minutes. He could score low. So that top echelon of DraftKings guys, I'm kind of feeling Sean O'Malley for DraftKings. So that's where I'm rolling with him this week. No bet, but I'll go big on the good old DraftKings. Moving on to the next one. This is one I had zero expectations to have even the slightest bit of passion for, but I kind of do have a passionate pick here. We got Robbie Lawler. He's minus 120. He's taking on Brian Barbarena, minus 110. I'm going to go with Robbie Lawler in this spot, man. I feel like he should be a little bit bigger of a fade, maybe minus 150. Like, y'all think Robbie Lawler would lose to Jason Witt? I don't fucking think so. I don't think so for one damn minute. I know Brian Barbarena is a lot younger. He ain't 40 like Robbie Lawler. He's been more active, yada, yada. But he's been out here taking a lot more damage recently. And not just recently, his whole damn career, Brian Barbarena has been taking damage. And yeah, sure, so is Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's been in some of the most insane wars in UFC history, like the Rory McDonald, their second fight. So yeah, I mean, you got 2 guys at the tail end here. It's just... I mean, So the way I view it is like Brian Barberena is out here losing a Jason Witt where, right, yes, Robbie Lawler's washed up, but like I don't think he's at the point where he would lose to fucking Jason Witt. In both of these guys' primes, prime Lawler smokes Brian Barberena. Now that they're both kind of washed up, I think washed up Lawler beats washed up Barberena. I mean, I know that's kind of a simple breakdown, but like it is what it is. Like I think he's gonna have. I think he's just gonna have the goods for Brian Barberena. He's bigger. Like we got a former 85er versus a former 55er here, a former champion versus a guy who, I mean, did Brian Barberena even break into the top 15 at one point? Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not out here betting it. I can't bet 40-year-old Robbie Lawler with the way he's looked lately, but I got no problem picking him. I think Robbie Lawler takes the W here. I'll say decision win. So, moving on to the feature bout of UFC 276. People's main event, if we're being honest. Which is amazing considering we got guys like Sean O'Malley, Robbie Lawler, Donald Cerrone, Jalen Turner, Brad Riddell, like Uriah Hall, like all these guys. And this is the people's main event right here. And that's somewhat due to the press conference yesterday. We got Sean Strickland, who's, I mean, this dude is so entertaining, man. I love the second life of Sean Strickland. Like, I remember when he was at welterweight, like before he got into the motorcycle accident, he was just kind of a quiet, standard, basic dude in the division, like personality-wise, I'm talking. And then like he comes back. He has that fight against Jack Marshman where he's talking all that kinds of shit in the octagon, and he's just been a different dude since. It's honestly very entertaining. I don't agree with a lot of the shit he says, but it's entertaining. You gotta be real with that. So he's minus 125 here, taking on Alex Pereira, who's minus 105. I got no idea, bro. It's just hard to cap Pereira. He's 5-1. This is a big step up for him. I mean, the best guy he's beaten is Bruno Blindado. Don't get me wrong, Bruno's a great fighter, but Sean Strickland's out here winning UFC main events, beating guys like Uriah Hall and Jack Hermanson. Like, it's a different level. Like, is Strickland going to wrestle here? Like, he's landed takedowns in the past, but I feel like lately it's been all about that jab. What is he going to, I don't know Strickland's game plan. There's just so many damn questions in this fight. Let's pick him for a reason, you know? The bookies are just telling us to figure it out. And we don't fucking know either. I mean, some of us do. Half of us are going to be right. Half of us are going to be wrong. I don't associate with either side. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Strickland's been knocked out before. Pereira's so damn scary. Like, I don't know if anyone watching, if y'all have a hot take on this fight, a confident pick, let me know, and let me know why you're confident. It's hard to cap a guy that's 5-1 that's barely been tested. So I don't know. But at the same time, he looks like the absolute goods. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if he comes out here and smokes Strickland. So I don't know. I've had the feeling all week that Pereira is going to win, so I'm going to pick him to win by knockout here, but kind of rooting for Strickland just with how fucking hilarious this guy's been. And you know how funny a buildup between him and Israel Adesanya would be. So yeah, Pereira by knockout's going to be my pick, but kind of rooting for Strickland. Let's see what happens though. So co-main event of the evening for the featherweight title, we got Alex Volkanovski. He's minus 200. He's taking on Max Holloway plus 160. I bet Volkanovski in the first fight. Can't remember the line. Maybe plus 190. It might not have been that high. I can't remember. It was somewhere between plus 150 and plus 200, I think. Second fight, I bet Volkanovski as a favorite. So I'm 2-0 betting Volkanovski against Max Holloway. Now he's minus 200. Do I bet him for the third time? You're goddamn right. I bet him for the third time. So Alex Volkanovski minus 190. I bet 4.75 units to win 2.5 units. I'm all in on Volk in this spot, man. Like, so after I won the first time, going into the second fight, my read was, all right, this is going to be the time where, the rematch is going to be different. This time somebody's going to dominate. It's going to be Volkanovski. He's on the way up. Holloway's taking a lot of damage. He's on the way down. But then they had that second fight, and it was razor fucking thin. Very, very close. I gave Volkanovski rounds 3, 4, and 5, but it was super close, man. Max Holloway showed he's still the second best guy in the division. He's bounced back. He's beaten everybody that's not named Alex Volkanovski. He's truly earned this third shot. I'm sticking with my opinion, though. I think this will be the time where Max Holloway starts to get a little hurt in fights, like where I saw Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. Like, Yair Rodriguez won rounds in that fight, man. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about Holloway in that performance, but I'll just say this. Like, I didn't see any improvements. I didn't see the sign of a guy on the way up. Whereas Alex Volkanovski, I feel like as champion, this guy is still improving every single time. And I mean, goddamn, how many shots can Max Holloway eat before that chin finally deteriorates? It's got to happen at some point. Nobody is indestructible. Max will sit there and tell you he's invincible. He'll never get knocked out. He can eat a million shots. That's what he does. He talks about how durable he is. People can think they're superheroes all they want, but let me tell you right now, not everyone is invincible. Like we've seen plenty of guys who were known for having like the most indestructible chins, and then as time went on, that chin got touched, and time after time, and then finally they go down. Like Dan Henderson comes to mind, legendary chin, got a little older, took a lot of damage, chin went to shit. I mean, and I'm not banking on that, absolutely not banking on that happening. I just think it's a possibility. So I kind of have the same line of logic as I do here that I did with Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Weili Zhang. So my thought process is, just because the last time they fought was close doesn't mean it's going to be close again. Like, sure, it could happen, but like there's no guarantees. And I believe all of the upside for somebody to make this fight dominant, I believe all of that upside is with Volkanovski for some of the reasons I just said, man. I think this can be the time he hurts Holloway, makes it dominant. I don't know if he gets him out, but we'll see. I just have a feeling that happens. I'm going to go with Volkanovski to TKO Max Holloway in the third round here. I also just thought he kind of smoked Max in the press conference yesterday. Like, if we're being real, like Max Holloway seemed a little emotional, like sounded a little punch drunk, and Volkanovski was just calm, cool, collected, kind of laughing at Holloway, just no selling everything Holloway was saying. So yeah, I mean, this just gives me all the vibes of Volkanovski to dominate. And again, I know a lot of you aren't going to be happy to hear me say that because you're probably some Holloway fans, and I'm a Holloway fan too, man, but never going to be biased breaking down these fights, and that's just truly how I feel. So give me Volkanovski to defend, to go 3-0 against Max Holloway, and to finish him this time. So we got 2 minutes till stare downs. I'm going to try to make this quick for y'all. We got the main event of the evening, Israel Adesanya. He's minus 500 against Jared Cannonier, plus 350. Man, I like Cannonier a lot. It's just hard to give him a chance here. Adesanya's got him covered, bro. Like, Adesanya undefeated at 185 pounds. We know the striking accolades. He's got Jared beat on the feet here, plain and simple, absolutely everywhere, maybe other than power. Got to be smart about Cannonier's power. That's the main thing Israel has to look out for. So with that being said, I kind of feel like we're going to get that low-paced chess match here. So I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya by decision here. Cannonier, can he land a big punch or two? Absolutely. Can he land a takedown? Maybe. I got a lot of respect for Cannonier, like I said. But Israel Adesanya, he's like a pound-for-pound top 3 or 4 guy. Cannonier, he's rightfully earned the shot. I just don't think he has what it takes to be a champion like my friend Israel Adesanya. So give me him to retain his belt, win a 50-45 decision, and we'll see what's next. Could be the winner of Strickland versus Pereira. We will see. What a card. Cannot wait. Going to go over my bets one more time. 4.75 units on Volkanovski at minus 190. 4.2 units on Jessica Rose Clark at minus 140. 3.6 units on Jalen Turner at minus 120. 2 units on Dricus du Plessis in plus 175. Face-offs in 2 hours? Bruh, somebody told me they were at 5. No fucking way. Y'all be in for... You for real, bro? Somebody tried to tell me they were at 5 o'clock. Well, shit. Let's see. If somebody else wants to confirm nor deny what Mr. Javik has just said, I mean, I can't find it anywhere. You might be right. So yeah, those are my bets. I'll go over if it's true that stare downs aren't starting for another 2 hours. I'll go down props real quick for you guys. And by the way, I haven't bet it yet, but the 5th bet I was talking about that I'm probably going to make is I'm wanting to bet 1 unit on Jim Miller inside the distance, and then 1 unit on Jim Miller round 1. So that might be a opportunity if I get the right line, of course. Yeah, I mean, I can't find when stare downs start. No idea. But I'm going to take my man's word for it. Yep, 7. Damn, what the fuck? People out here telling me that it's at 5. Okay, so let's go through the props then. Adesanya Cannonier. So I just picked Adesanya by decision. Let's see what the line on that is. Adesanya by unanimous decision, I see plus 150 somewhere. I mean, I'll be surprised if Cannonier makes it close enough to be a split or a majority. And then regular Adesanya by decision, I see plus 110, plus 135, plus 120. I like Adesanya by decision. I mean, the only thing is you're going to have to sweat for 25 minutes. Let's see. Volkanovski versus Holloway. Let's see what kind of number they're offering on Volkanovski by KO. Plus 325, plus 400. If you can get plus 400 on Volkanovski KO, I think that's worth a shot. Strickland Pereira. I mean, I picked Pereira knockout. Let's see what that is. Plus 140, plus 180. I mean, that's not bad. He's not going to win by submission. I guess this fight could go 15. Yeah, I guess Pereira by KO is risky. It could be a decision as well. Robbie Lawler, Barbarena. I mean, can somebody get finished? What's the over? All right, the over is juiced. They know. All right, no good props in that fight. Let's see what O'Malley by KO is. I would think they're offering something nice and juicy since Pedro hasn't been KO'd. O'Malley KO plus 160, plus 150. That's not bad. I'd feel a lot better if it was plus 200, but that's not bad. Jalen Turner, let's see what he is by. So actually, this is an interesting one. It might not be a KO from Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's got these long ass arms, and I feel like you could totally see him rock Riddell and just snatch a sub. So I'm gonna look at Jalen Turner inside the distance. Jalen Turner inside the distance plus 130, plus 125. I just bet it straight. I don't think that's enough of a difference. And then Jim Miller, I already talked about that one. So Bet Online is just refusing to open up props in this fight for some reason. Bovada, who I also use, has Jim Miller wins inside the distance minus 110. Not really crazy about the minus. And then they have Jim Miller round 1 plus 220. So, like, of course, Bovada is offering, like, the worst lines possible. Like, all these other books have, like, plus 300 on Miller round 1. So, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck Bet Online is waiting for, but I want these props. So yeah, that's where I like the props on the Jim Miller fight. Ian Gary, let's see what he is by KO. Well, I guess he could get a sub too. So Ian Gary inside the distance. Oh, there goes fight odds spazzing out on me. Ian Gary inside the distance. Plus 200. Plus 200 on Bovada. If you can get Ian Gary inside the distance plus 200, that's not a bad look at all. I mean, it's probably safer to bet him straight, obviously, but I mean, you're saving a lot of money there. That's one of my favorite props I've looked at so far. And then Dricus du Plessis, I bet him inside the distance plus 175. I think that line is long gone now. Du Plessis inside the distance, plus 120, plus 135. Yeah. Sniped that one. And then we got Uriah Hall, Andre Muniz. I already looked at Muniz by sub earlier. It was minus 125. And then I don't really want to bet Hall by KO just because you're already getting such a good straight line. But that probably is the only way for him to win this fight, huh? By KO. Like, is he going to win a decision here? I doubt it. So Uriah Hall plus 375 by KO. Nah. And then Jessica I, Barber. What's Barber by KO? Plus 450. I could see her TKOing Jessica I. And then last but not least, Jessica Rose Clark, Stoliarenko. I mean, Clark's not really a finisher. Stoliarenko doesn't really get finished. So Clark by decision, plus 120, plus 125. Yeah, I'm happy with the minus 140 I took straight. So that is it, guys. That is it. What's your cat's name? Love seeing him sneak around in the background. So the cat's in the bedroom right now. That's why you haven't seen him in this video, because I'm in the kitchen. But I got two cats. I got a Siamese. My girlfriend named him Thai, like after Thailand. And then we got a gray Russian blue. His name is Vasi. We named him after the goalie for the Lightning. Couple reasons for that. So the goalie for the Lightning, his name is Andrei Vasilevsky, nickname Vasi, nickname also the Big Cat. So we're just like, all right, the cat's a Russian blue. Vasi fits, you know. There we go. We're big Lightning fans, as you can see. We didn't get it this year, but you know what, man? We made it to 3 Stanley Cups in a row. Didn't win. I mean, we won 3 Eastern Conference Finals in a row, but hey, man, we got the 3 Stanley Cups in a row. We won 2 of them. We'll be back next year. Congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche. They absolutely deserved it. Big time. Great team. And yes, I do watch other sports besides MMA, guys. I know it might just seem like it's all about MMA, but I like hockey. I like football's my second biggest favorite. Like I'd probably watch I would watch football over boxing. Like even though I'm a big combat sports guy, like boxing's just too limited to me. Like I just don't like watching so much. Like I know there's a lot of guys that like UFC or MMA and boxing. For me, I watch so much MMA, and that's like MMA is like the true definition of a fight because every martial art is included. To watch boxing and to see these guys only punching, just knowing that if that fight was in a real life situation, you can't count on the other guy to only throw punches. Like if I'm going to watch a fight, I want to watch a fight where it's like realistic. Like if I'm at a bar and I'm hammered and there's a dude next to me acting like a fucking idiot, I'm not about to agree with him to only punch. If we fight, we're mixing the martials. That's all I got to say about that. But I don't want to shit on boxing. Boxing, it's a legendary sport. Like I have a lot of respect for those guys, like Muhammad Ali, one of my favorite athletes of all time, Mike Tyson, and then you got that the era of Floyd Mayweather and Golden Boy, De La Hoya, and all those guys. I've seen all those Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward wars. Those are some of my favorite fights of all time. Like, I don't want to just completely shit on boxing. It's a great sport for sure. It's just like it's not my favorite. Like, I'd rather watch football. I'd rather watch hockey, you know. So, any questions you guys got? I got time to kill. I thought stare downs were about to start, so if y'all got anything, more than happy to answer away. This is fun. Appreciate you guys being here. If y'all are still here, hit that like button. I appreciate that. Hit that subscribe if you're not already. If you want me to look at next week real quick, next week is looking pretty nice. Wait a second. Is next week a Friday card? Or am I crazy? No. The 8th. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? Okay, that was really throwing me off. Fight odds for some reason says UFC 276 is July 1st, and that which is today, and that next week's card is July 8th. I don't know what that's all about. I almost thought we had a Friday card, but anyway, next week's card, Dos Anjos and Fiziev. I mean, I feel like they've been trying to make that fight for a long time. Do you like Muniz by sub? I mean, I like the chances for that happening quite a lot, but like the line is minus 125. I'm not really crazy about playing chalk on a prop, but as for the chances of that happening, yeah, I think that could easily happen. That's probably the most likely path to victory. Bounce back week this week. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one of my favorite guys who I won a lot of money on in their last fight, Caio Borralho. He's taking on Armen Petrosyan next week. I think that's an awesome fight. We got Michael Johnson and Jamie Malarkey. That's an interesting one. I'm kind of pissed off they lined Malarkey minus 200 because I like him there to knock out Michael Johnson, honestly. Ricky Tercios is coming back to fight Eamon Zahavi. Cody Brundage versus Trayshawn Gore at Pick'em. That's an interesting fight. Oh, here's the fight, guys. Some of y'all might not know about this fight. Because, I mean, these guys don't have big name value. But let me tell you something. Both these guys are very good. And there's some trash talk going around on Twitter. So this is going to be a hell of a fight. I'm talking about Ronnie Lawrence versus Said Yokub Kakhmaranov. That's a hell of a tough one to say, but Said Yokub Kakhramonov. That's a tough one, but you know what? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. That fight is a banger, and I'm not sure who I got. I mean, Ronnie Lawrence is a relentless wrestler. That's a great style to bet, but Said Yokub Kakhramonov, that dude is fucking legit. That's gonna be a banger. David Onama versus Austin Lingo. David Onama is minus 300, and I probably agree with that. You touching any PFL tonight, bro? I'm glad you asked because I actually did touch some PFL tonight. I put one unit on Jarrah Al-Salawi at plus 190. That line is gone now. It's like plus 140. But yeah, he's taking on an undefeated Russian. But like the thing is, here I bet against undefeated Russians in the past. I just talked about that, like with Caio Borralho. You can't be scared to fade an undefeated Russian. Go in and watch tape and be honest. Like, is this guy really impressive? Because I watched tape on the undefeated wrestler. He's 11-0. I watched tape on him. Was very underwhelmed. Whereas Jarrah Al-Salawi, people are low on him right now because he had a close fight with Gleison Tebow. But firstly, he won that fight. Secondly, y'all know Gleison Tebow's a really fucking tough fight, right? Like, this dude's super experienced. He had 3 close rounds with Khabib. He had a razor-thin fight with Rory McDonald. I think they gave him the Rory McDonald fight, I believe. It was really close. I thought he lost, but it was really fucking close. Point is, Gleison Tebow's a really tough fighter. So for Al-Salawi to beat him, I mean, even if it was close, that's still impressive to me. Let me tell you some other accolades Jarrah Al-Salawi has on his resume here. This guy's 18-3. This guy's a really good fighter, guys. Like, this guy's absolutely UFC level. So he's 18-3. He only has 1 loss in the last 6 years. So he has a first-round knockout of Carlston Harris, who's in the UFC. He has a second-round knockout against Ismail Nordiev. He has the decision win against Gleison Tebow. And here's an interesting one. He fought this dude, Abduraguimov, twice. This dude, he's a Russian Frenchman, goes by the nickname Lazy King. This Russian's 15-1. This dude is really good. He's going to be in the UFC. And Jarrah Al-Salawi gave him his only loss. He TKO'd him in the 4th round. So, like, this dude, Jarrah Al-Salawi, he's very good. He's very experienced. And then this undefeated Russian that's the favorite, Magomed Umalatov, like, why is he the favorite? I mean, he's beat nothing but jobbers. His best win is Leandro Silva, who was in the UFC. But like, I watched that fight and it was terrible. Like, it was super underwhelming, guys. Like, this dude Umalatov is supposed to be known as a wrestler, but firstly, there was no wrestling in that fight. They stood and traded, but like they didn't trade. It was super low volume. He landed like 40 strikes in that fight. Like, terrible, terrible, terrible. And then the fight before that, he fought Kyron Bowen, who I'm really familiar with. Kyron Bowen's like one of the worst regional fighters I've seen in a long time. Granted, he knocked him out in the second round, but in that first round, there was a moment there where Kyron Bowen almost swept Umalatov, and it was looking kind of sketch there for a sec, but Bowen's a bum. He didn't know what to do, and he got smoked. But long story short, guys, Jarrah Al-Salawi is a very live underdog in PFL tonight, and I put 1 unit on it. I love David Onama, future contender. I love David Onama too, bro. He cashed me a big bet against Benitez last time. It was looking a little sketchy, you know. I think it was not his UFC debut. Onama's UFC debut was against Mason Jones. That was a very, very impressive war. And that's the fight that got me to bet Onama against Benitez, because I was just so fucking impressed, because I'm super high on Mason Jones as well. And then Benitez, he just, I love Benitez, but he's kind of, he's kind of fallen off. He's kind of declining. So if y'all haven't been able to tell, I'm a huge proponent of betting the younger fighter against the fighter on the way out. Like, sometimes these guys aren't ready. Like, you got to look out and not do it with fighters that are too green, not experienced enough. But sometimes if you can catch these guys at the right moment against the right opponent, you can make a lot of money. His debut was super impressive on short notice against Jones. Yeah, man, I love that fight. If y'all have never seen David Onama versus Mason Jones, go watch that right now. That fight was amazing. He was a huge dog and made Mason Jones better. So yes, he did. He made them sweat for sure. And then they didn't make that mistake with his line in the next fight. I think he was the favorite against Benitez. I bet him as the favorite. He came through. First round knockout. Got a little sketch in the beginning, but you know what? First fucking round knockout. Big fan of David Onama. Thoughts on Stoliarenko's submission? I have a bet on Jessica Rose Clark, bro. But if Stoliarenko wins, that is how she will win. Odds were wrong on Bet365 at 36x for sub 166x. That's Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, if you're getting a line like that, I mean, my Lord. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for me. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week, as always. Oh, I didn't have a podcast last week. I'm sorry about that, but like, life's busy sometimes, you know? Like, I'm sorry that this isn't my number one priority, but I try to be here 99% of the time, and here I am back. Here we go. I've been following you on Twitter for a few months now. You're super sharp, and I like your attitude and losses. Always classy. Cheers, bro. Cheers, bro. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, you have to have a good attitude with losses, because nobody is immune to losses. Nobody. It's gonna happen. You just have to stay strong mentally and don't lose discipline. Don't chase losses. You just have to put your head down, grind. And if you've been doing good long-term, like this year, I'm having a really good year this year. I may have lost 7 units on Arman Sarukian. It's a lot of money. I may have lost that, but I'm still up like 45 units this year. My reads are on point. So the fact that I'm having that kind of year, it just helps me keep my head up and, keeps me on the right track to win some bets long-term. Don't make stupid mistakes, because those add up, and it's a tough game, man. Only 1 or 2% of sports bettors actually make money long-term. And if you want to be in that 1 or 2%, you got to do everything the right way. And that's what I'm trying to do. Good luck, big dog. Let's cash. Yes, sir. All right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at MMA Kelton. If you're not already, that's where it's at. And if y'all are watching this podcast and I'm not following you, shoot me a message. I'll follow you. I got no problem with that. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm out of here. See y'all next week. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. Such a banger of a card. And let's go Jarrah Al-Salawi tonight. Let's go. Later.